I, I have no words. Well, that happened. I know, I don't believe it either. I had to pinch myself God knows how many times, but it happened. Bill Foley was right, and all of our hopes and all of our dreams as Golden Knights fans were realized. We won the Stanley Cup. I can't believe it either. And it's taken all summer for that feeling to finally sink in. I had a feeling before the puck dropped on Game 5 that things were going to go well. And I didn't know that they were going to score 9. And I didn't know that everything that happened after was going to happen. But I just woke up the morning of Game 5 knowing that when I went to bed that night, the Golden Knights would be the Stanley Cup champions. And obviously this shirt and all the other memorabilia that I have now indicates that that is exactly what happened. And I still can't stop smiling when I think about it. I try not to get too sentimental and I try not to get too romantic about hockey. It's too fast of a sport. But it's hard not to think back on where you came from as a fan of a team. Now, I grew up in a state where liking hockey wasn't already popular enough, and I rooted for teams that weren't very good. I used to be a Minnesota Wild fan, and then I rooted for the Dallas Stars for a little bit. And then I rooted for the St. Louis Blues when they were too busy getting their teeth kicked in by the Blackhawks. And when the LA Kings won their Stanley Cups in 2012 and 2014, I rooted for them because they were the underdog. And then on a random night in 2017, my life, at least my hockey life, completely changed. At that time, I had just stopped playing hockey. I had just started high school, and I didn't have the time to play goalie anymore. And as much as I loved hockey, I needed to get on to bigger and brighter things. I needed to focus on my golf career and my academics and band and the stuff that I was in at the time. My little brother, on the other hand, was still actively involved in hockey, and his teammates were pretty cool. And he got to brag going into December that we were going to get to do something that nobody else in his team had gotten to do. We're going to get to go see a game by the expansion Vegas Golden Knights in December of 2017. And the Golden Knights were kind of near the top of the standings at the time, and I didn't know any better. I just wanted to see, it was a novelty. It would have just been interesting to see what sports would look like in Las Vegas, having spent a lot of time out there playing golf at all the great golf courses around the Strip and, tagging along with my dad to conventions as a little kid and, not really knowing what a slot machine was because I was too little. But, I'd grown up a bit. I was 16 or 17. I think it was 16. And, yeah, I was holy moly, I was 16. Anyway, we get to the game, and I don't know what to expect. And the lights go down, and the typical year one Sword in the Stone pregame ceremony begins. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool. And then the Golden Knights go down 2-0, but ultimately come back and win the game 4-2. I think Malcolm Subban was in net that night. I thought this was the greatest thing ever, and I loved it so much, and I was really bummed out that we would only get to see one game, and then I was surprised, my dad surprised us, and we were going to get to go to a second game, and that second game on that trip, my second ever Golden Knights game, was a game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the Golden Knights didn't play many games against the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2017-18, and one springs to mind. If you're a true fan, you know exactly the one I'm talking about. Yeah, I was at that game. And with 2.3 seconds left in the third period, when Shea Theodore scored that goal to win, I fell in love with the Golden Knights. And now fast forward 6 years and they've won the Stanley Cup, I've done some thinking, and I just wondered how I got here. And I was digging through, I was digging through some of my knickknacks that I had gotten throughout my years of being a fan. All those lavender headbands that you see in November when I do it for Hockey Fights Cancer. Those are from games. I've got some hockey pucks from warm-ups, some towels from the inaugural playoffs that I went to in 2017. I went to Game 2 and saw the save, which mercifully now has been replaced in my head by Aiden Hill's iteration of the save. But one thing really stood out to me, and it's sitting right here next to me. It's on my nightstand, so I look at it every day. This is my ticket stub from the first Golden Knights game I ever went to. And if you look closely, the first ever Golden Knights game I saw was against the team that the Golden Knights would beat to win their first Stanley Cup in the Florida Panthers. If that's not poetic, and if you can't get romantic about hockey after that, I don't know what else to do for you, because that brought a tear to my eye when I remembered that and when I found this ticket stub. And what's even crazier about this is the fact that, especially in my family, we're not really the biggest sports fans in the world. We sure as heck weren't the biggest hockey fans until me and my little brother started playing, and we didn't even really care until the Golden Knights, came into the league and we all fell in love with them on that fateful night in December of 2017. It's weird that this happened, and we almost, as a family, especially me and my dad, didn't expect that this moment would actually come to pass. My family and my parents in particular, have a long and storied history of rooting for the wrong team of history. My dad's an Illinois basketball fan, and my mom is a Vikings fan. And so both of those fan bases know a thing or two about struggling and not being able to get the job done when the time is called, when you get to the championship games. The last time I even was emotionally invested, like truly emotionally invested, along with my dad in a sporting event, was the 2011 World Series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Texas Rangers. And obviously with the Cardinals winning that World Series in 7 games, it was like, okay, this is the greatest feeling we have ever had, staying up late, watching David Freese hit that home run in the bottom of the 11th inning to win the game or something. That was what I thought was the greatest feeling in all of sports, until that night a couple months ago when the Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup. And yes, I know I'm recording this a couple of months later. Look, life happens, and unfortunately, it just all happened to kick off right during the Stanley Cup final. Now, I could hit you with the song and dance about how, I didn't want to jinx it, especially when the Golden Knights went up 2-0. And while the Golden Knights were going up 2-0, I was in Las Vegas for a completely unrelated reason, playing golf with my family, trying to get tickets to game 1 and 2, and it just didn't pan out. Wound up watching game 2 at the Topgolf next to the MGM Grand, and the atmosphere there was insane. And when we got back, game 3 happened, and I was a little bit upset, and so I didn't really get the opportunity to sit down and record. And then I was so nervous out of my mind during the end of game 4 that I literally went outside and paced around the backyard for 25 minutes waiting for the game to end. And the only time I stepped foot back inside was when Alex Pietrangelo took that delay of game penalty with like 12 seconds to go, and I was immediately whisked back outside. But things happened, obviously. I was away for a bit on vacation watching the games, and I graduated college, and my brother graduated high school, and we had family in town. And that is my biggest regret from last season. I loved every minute of doing all my reactions for last season, all the major news, all the games, and ultimately this playoff run culminating in a championship. My biggest regret is that I couldn't give you my live reaction to the Golden Knights winning their first Stanley Cup. And then now I've had to move across the country to attend law school, and I have had all that, and I would have loved to have done this earlier, but school started in August, and now I'm 6 weeks into my semester, almost halfway done, and hockey season's about to start again. The rookie face-off just finished, and I got the itch again. I know that the Golden Knights have to go defend their Stanley Cup, and it's time to get back to doing this. I genuinely miss doing this. I genuinely miss talking about something that I'm passionate about to a fan base, even if it's small, that likes to see other people excited. Or if you're here from another fan base and you like to watch me suffer when the Golden Knights eventually lose to the Oilers in the second round of this coming season. Either way, I genuinely appreciated what you guys did for me last year. You gave me something else to focus on, while my life was running full speed in the direction that it's going to be going for the rest of my life. With regards to the future of this channel, it's not going anywhere. This is something I really enjoyed. I did this last year just to see if I would enjoy doing this. I was inspired by the Hockey Guy. I was inspired by Steve Dangle and all the stuff that they do. And I wondered what would it be like to do that for myself. And I genuinely really, really enjoyed it. So even though I have stuff going on, being in grad school and trying to do all the things that I have to do to be successful in that, I still am going to keep producing this content. I'm going to try and do more to still produce some slightly more high quality content now that I don't have to wait for roommates to be quiet like I did in my old dorm, and now that I can actually get these things done like maybe night of, morning after kind of stuff to get that regular upload going again, like I had going before Christmas rolled around last year and I took 35 games off, which I'm going to try not to do that this year. I can't make any promises because I know I'm already going to be out of town, but I'm going to try and be good about that, because taking that 30-something game break not only was unfair to you guys as the viewers, but it was unfair to myself, because I made a promise both to myself and to my prospective viewers that I would give you guys the content no matter what I had to do. But obviously I had a little bit of a lull, got a little bit of performance anxiety, and I just thought, if I'm not going to do it right, I shouldn't do it at all. But now that I kind of know what I'm doing, I've got a year of this under my belt, I think it's time for me to actually commit. And even though I've got so much other stuff to deal with, it's time to commit and actually see this one through and try and do all 82 games this year and all 7 preseason games as their own individual videos, rather than trying to lump them together and give a quick 30-second cliff notes of each game. There's something to be lost to that. There's the finer points, there's the nuance, the little X's and O's of hockey that I just love breaking down that gets lost in that format. So I'm going to try and avoid that at all costs. I will say, overall, the biggest triumph of last season from my perspective, from this channel's perspective, aside from the quality content on the ice and what the Golden Knights put out for us, is the way that I got inspired to do this and the way that I found my enjoyment for this. And obviously I kind of found my voice again, because public speaking is hard. Sitting down in front of a camera is even harder, and it took me a couple of months to learn how to do it. But now that I took a couple months off and now I'm back in front of the camera, it feels like I'm riding a bike again. And it's just genuinely interesting to see what this is doing. You know, it's not like I'm doing any numbers or anything. Like, my most successful standalone video only has like 130 views total, and my best short got up to 900, and I thought that was insanity. And so this is something that I want to build off of. This is something I'm passionate about, and that is my biggest triumph, the little community that I'm starting to build here on this platform. And I'm going to try and do more things to build it. You know, if you're here from the beginning, you're the real ones, you're the best, and I genuinely appreciate you guys. So in terms of an upcoming video schedule, yeah, there's gonna be stuff. This is the first video of Thoughts of the Night Season 2. And I'm gonna find a way to title it that way. Obviously, if you look down below, I probably came up with something clever. But yes, there will be more content coming up. We've got main camp opening tomorrow, which is Thursday, September 21st. Yeah, September 22nd. No, 21st. I was right the first time. God, I'm a little rusty at this. I'm sorry. Probably the next videos that are coming out will be an off-season breakdown, news and notes coming into camp, maybe a quick chat about the rookie camp, even though I only got to watch one of the games, and I'm a little bit bummed out about that. But the third one was fun, even though we lost. You know, obviously news and notes about the off season, my favorite things that I saw online, stories about players, days with the Cups, what I would do if I got a day with the Stanley Cup, and I will never get a day with the Stanley Cup. And just trying to get back in the swing of things before I break down probably this coming Monday, the Golden Knights' first preseason game, which is Sunday night against the San Jose Sharks. So we're back. And as crazy as it is, I am more excited this year than I ever could have possibly imagined. I know for a fact I've got some very interesting content ideas coming up for things this season, whether it be a revamped version of my player report cards, whether it be a new kind of format to these game recaps where I, you know, do a better job of explaining the X's and O's of the game as I see it. And obviously the bits that are supposed to be funny, they're not going anywhere. I can promise you that. I love making those as much as I know you guys love watching them. And as much as I'd love to turn Jake Ottinger into a helicopter every day, or as much as, you know, I'd love to depict Evander Kane as chasing me with the chair, it's not every game's going to have that, but I will try my best to give you something like that as often as I can, and just try and see if the Golden Knights can go back to back. And, you know, if they do, I will blame it on the fact that I started recording these videos a year ago after they missed the playoffs and did it all the way until they won their first Stanley Cup. I can't believe it. Oh, and if this t-shirt wasn't good enough, hold on a second. Yeah, Optimism jersey guy has just a permanent shining example of why it's okay to be optimistic about this team. Yeah, no, this is never going to get old. I can swear to you, this is never, ever going to get old. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to sign off as I always did. I'm back, and I'm not going anywhere. At least, hopefully not. Fingers crossed. Thank you for watching. If you're just finding me through the depths, looking at Golden Knights content as the season's about to wind up, welcome. I hope you enjoyed. I promise it gets better. I'm just being sappy because my team won the Stanley Cup. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like it. If you really, really enjoyed it, subscribe for more content just like it. And if you've gone back and seen any of my videos from last year, you know that I like to have fun. Comment down below if you want to talk to me, if you want to spread some love, spread some hate. Don't really care. Okay, don't spread hate. Be respectful, guys. Don't hate on anybody. We gotta love everybody. We're the champions, but humble in victory. Humble in victory. Yeah. But anyways, comment down below if you want to talk with me. I love responding to you guys. I probably can't turn any of this stuff into shorts, but as soon as things get going again, I'll be kicking out videos and short form content like it's going out of style. So again, thank you for watching. It means the world to me. I can't wait to get back doing this and entertaining you guys, occupying 20 to 30 minutes of your week. And honestly, thank you, and I'll catch you guys very soon with my next video.